Hello, this is Dr. Earl with ACTIVZ. I am super excited to talk to you today about ACTIVZ and the amazing people, product, process, the whole thing. It's going to be pretty exciting. I'm hopeful that this gives a little bit of a unique view about why I'm excited about ACTIVZ and why you should be excited about ACTIVZ as well. Now, one of the things that I really stress is that I create these videos because I cover a lot of information. And I'm not going to just sit and read slides to you and so forth, but we need to kind of take a fresh look at medicine and how we're really understanding the body, how it works, and really how to go after the problems and diseases that afflict us today. And I've got this little paragraph here that really talks about how medicine needs to change. The reality is we're losing the battle, and we have to start looking at new, unique, and innovative ways to tackle the problems that are before us. And really, ACTIVZ is at the forefront of that. And as we look, I just compiled just a brief history of medicine, just so we understand that medicine has been constantly improving and changing. And the reality is that's not any different today. Progress needs change. And a lot of medical advancements that have happened and have been brought to the forefront that we use today as a standard of care really came about because people were willing to innovate, look beyond the mark, and really solve problems that didn't have great solutions. And that's really the way that medicine and we as a society moves forward. Well, I'm going to talk today about what I call foundational molecules. And so what are foundational molecules? To understand this, I really want to first talk about what a foundation is. So when someone builds a house or a building, they want to make sure it has a very strong structure to stand upon. If the foundation is made out of sand or something that is not stable and secure, the whole building is not stable and secure. In fact, in certain areas of the world, because of the earthquake activity that takes place, they actually alter the way that the foundations are established so that they can withstand the shaking and the movement that happens. But it's all in order to make a stable foundation, even if the ground is not, a stable foundation that allows that building to stay safe for the occupants therein. So a foundation usually is stone or concrete structure, and it supports the building underneath. Another definition of foundational is something that provides support for something else. Well, really, that's what foundational molecules are is they are the necessary molecules for life, and they impact multiple aspects of life. One of the frustrating things I have in medicine is people look for this pill, that solution, this pill, that symptom, and so forth. But if you really get to these foundational molecules, they affect the body across multiple different areas. And we're going to see some powerful spreadsheets about that just a little bit later. Foundational molecules unlock the essence of life. And there are some key evidences and examples of foundational molecules here. Well, and I put this slide here as far as time to choose because as we move forward, I want this to be in your thoughts. As we start to think about what really ACTIVZ is and what it has, I want you to start thinking about what you really want and think about choosing that. And for many of you, you're already in and you're doing all these things. But then I'm asking you to double your efforts, increase your output, increase your connections, increase your network, because you really need to choose what you want. Do you want cutting-edge therapies, the opportunity to help others with health, finance, lifestyle, vision, be a part of something greater, join an international company, create a team that moves forward, enjoy financial freedom, be your own boss, increase your free times, develop a can-do attitude? I mean, what do you want? Or do you want to join a company that does all of those? That's amazing. And the reason why I put my windmill of wellness here is because this is one of the unique opportunities I've found that really touches on all aspects of wellness and well-being as we move forward. So what are the obstacles? And I put this in here just to, again, there's an entire lecture built around this whole concept as far as how to overcome obstacles. But I just want to touch briefly on it and allow your brains to think about this as we move forward. So if we break down core actions, core psychology, what really makes people decide to move forward and take action. They jump in based on two emotional states. So the first is that it feels safe and it feels right. And the second is that it sparks excitement and challenge. Really, those are the only two reasons why people want to move forward or jump in. And I really want to simplify how we think about getting people to join and connect with us. They either feel safe or it seems exciting. And if you keep that in mind and you're presenting to someone and you're saying, all right, is this someone who needs to feel safe, meaning they need information and data and people and hand-holding, etc.? Or is this someone who needs the excitement, the challenge, the opportunity to go out and conquer the world? Keep that in your mind as you're approaching people and thinking about them. So the goal is either to, one, spark interest and or two, build trust. Well, there are really three core areas where we can spark interest. So people really want to be recognized as being important. People want the opportunity to create, and that means create a business, create wealth, create a structure, create a team. There's all kinds of different ways that you can look at extending creativity to them. Or do they want to be part of something greater, a bigger movement? A lot of people are really influenced by the opportunity to help people at a core level with their health. And so these are things that you can use to spark their interest. And again, you can take being part of something greater in multiple different ways. You know, is it part of a charity? Is it part of a greater program, a bigger purpose? You know, what have you? A lot of ways to look at that. And then we also need to start thinking about do we need to build trust? And trust is earned for one, but it has a very specific sequence that people go through. And a lot of people we've developed some trust with, and so they jump on board. But again, I want you to think about this as you move forward, because what happens is trust follows a very specific sequence. You're either unaware or you ignore it. Now, it is human nature that the first time that you hear about something, your initial response is no. For some people, they don't get past that initial response. They don't get past that initial feeling of negativity, if you will. But it's our opportunity to help them get past us. There's a book called Getting Past No, and the entire book really revolves around the reality that no is on the path to success. See, it's already down the chain of trust. And so what they're really saying is no yet, and give me more information or give me more time. They may need to ruminate on things a little bit. But no doesn't mean absolute no. It means I need time, I need information, I need to feel safe, or it's not exciting me enough. See how that balances out and how that works? Once they get past no, then they start bargaining. They start doing the if-then process. All right, so if I do this, then I get that. And if I do this, then you'll do that. And if and then and if and then. And that process goes on for a little bit. Then they partially accept what's going on. And then eventually it's full acceptance and inclusion. And really people go through this process. For some, it's very quick. For others, you need to do an assessment. And this is the power of this list, is if you will take a minute after you've talked with someone and say, where is that person at on the ladder of trust? Are they saying no because they don't have enough information? Are they starting to bargain or say, okay, if this, then that, or if I understand this correctly, you that? Or are they starting to accept and etc.? So understand that you have the ability to make an assessment of where they're at and then make a judgment on how to move them to that next level. So with someone, if someone says no, you ask, why not? What's going on? See, I've already started the process of getting their brain to work in the bargaining sequence. And then they'll say, well, this and this and this. Give them information. No, still. Why not? Well, this and this and this. And so again, get them then to the bargaining station, and then they'll come back and they say, well, if I understand this correctly, now you know you've got them to stage 3. And then ultimately they'll say, okay, I'll try it. And this, at the bargaining station, you start to say, look, there's a 90-day money back guarantee. There's opportunity. We'll help you. We'll, etc. There's training. There's processes. So again, what you're trying to do is get them down that process. And eventually, you want them all included drinking the Kool-Aid. All right. I'm going to focus a little bit on the products right now. One of the things that I did when I started at ACTIVZ is I started creating a list of all of the different benefits and the things that I found in the research for each of these products. And the reality is it got huge, and it's still huge. And what I've done here is I've broken this down based on, for example, this is my list in regards to link. And then I've looked at the body system. So gastrointestinal, that's your gut, your immune system, neural, or your brain and nerve tissue, cardiovascular, endocrine, these primarily are your hormones, pulmonary, that's your lungs, integument, or your skin, musculoskeletal, and lymphatic. And you'll notice I didn't really put the reproductive system in here. It has some benefits, but these really are the main players. And so putting this list together in this way really unlocks the absolute amazing power that just Link provides. And you can see that it just touches each system very powerfully. That's why it's a foundational molecule. It has an impact across multiple different body systems. It makes things work better. I mean, just going through the list, it's the preferred food source for endothelial cells that line the entire digestive system. The preferred food source. Decreases inflammation at the source. Improved neural intestine connection. So this is that gut-brain axis that everybody talks about. Well, they've shown that butyric acid is the way that the microbiome and your lining of your digestive system talks with your neurological system. And that is based on levels, composition, there's just a lot that kind of goes into that. Improves and balances gastric motility. So if you're diarrhea, you'll become more regular. If you're constipated, you tend to become more regular. It balances it out. It balances the relationship between the host, that's us, and the gut microflora. So all of that digestive tissue that's inside, or digestive cells, the microbiome that's inside of us, this is how that communication really takes place. And there are other things, but it really is one of the key pieces. It's the primary messenger between that. It certainly protects the integrity of the intestinal, endothelial, and epithelial barrier. So if you've got leaky gut issues, this is one of the primary solutions, if not the primary solution for that. And always very important is this butyric acid modulates your DNA and genetic expression. This means that it gets deep inside the cell, and when it's inside the cell, it activates processes that change the way that your body expresses its DNA. It expresses healthy genes rather than some of the unhealthy genes that are in survival mode. That's just the gastrointestinal system. Seriously? The immune system decreases inflammation at the source, resets mast cells and T lymphocytes, and it moves them towards what's called homeostasis. So that means that if they're overactive, they become more balanced. If they're underactive, they become more balanced. Wow. I mean, just if it did that alone to our immune system, this would be an incredible product, but it goes on. It's the communication between the intestinal cells and your lymph tissue, the primary messenger system between the bacteria and your immune system. And again, absolutely, it modifies the DNA and makes the immune system express different genetic codes that make you healthier. Neural. It's neuroprotective of normal brain and nerve system function. Neuroprotective, that is such a key piece, because with toxins and inflammation and irritation, all the other things that are bombarding our brains, this is neuroprotective. To the point they actually did the research and said it inhibits the pathways that lead to Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and dementia. Wow. Inhibits those pathways. Promotes neuroplasticity. So that's when you create new connections. That's when your brain learns how it processes things, how it moves things forward. So it protects and promotes that neuroplasticity. Once again, DNA and genetic modulation. Cardiovascular, preferred food source of the endothelial cells that line the entire digestive system. So if the lining of cardiovascular system. Wow, see, there's so many systems going on. I'm getting a little confused. Just kidding. But it protects the entire lining. It's the preferred food source. It regulates cholesterol. It lowers blood pressure. Endocrine. Regulates blood sugar and insulin levels. Regulates cortisol. So your stress hormone is actually reduced by taking Link if it's out of balance. It aids in weight management. Once again, we see that DNA and genetic modulator. We see healthy genes activated with butyric acid. Pulmonary. Preferred food source of the endothelial cells. And you can see apparently I've listed that twice. Sorry, must have been important. We'll go with that. It does attenuate lung inflammation. So we see it's a very powerful anti-inflammatory. And the skin is the preferred food source of endothelial cells, cells that line and make up the entire system. This is exciting. It reduces radiation toxicity. So UV exposure, butyric acid helps. Musculoskeletal. In the presence of butyric acid, your body will prefer to burn fat over carbohydrate. How exciting is that? Lymphatic. It's an anti-inflammatory. Peyer's patches are these patches inside of your your GI system that really are the connection between your GI, the lymphatic, and the rest of the system. This actually promotes homeostasis, or a balancing of those patches. And it helps with lymphedema. Oh, I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted just learning about Link. All right, it's still awesome. Let's keep going forward. Optimum. This is also amazing. I mean, look at this list. This is amazing. So tetrahydrocurcumin. It is 3.5 to 5 times more effective than curcumin. And understand, that's just when it was done in a lab, in vitro, if you will. They found that it has a 3.5 to 5% times more effective rate. Also understand that inside you and I, curcumin has a very poor absorption rate. Because of the miracle of the Psylocke and DexKey technology, Optimum and tetrahydrocurcumin gets into the body at a very high level. So not only are you more potent across the board, but you get more of it into your system and into the body. Absolutely amazing. I mean, Optimum is a game changer. In my clinic, every patient has a recommendation to go with Optimum and leave the ibuprofen and the other things behind. Long term, it decreases their inflammation unlike anything else. And we'll talk about some of those things here. Again, it genetically balances the microbiome. Think about that. It actually balances out the microbiome. And that means that if you have a lot of bad bacteria in your system, this brings those down and promotes the healthy increase of the healthy microbiome. DNA and genetic modulator, we've talked about that before. So now we're modifying DNA again. And you're thinking, how much DNA can we modulate? Well, enough. And the key is that it modulates it in a healthy way. It activates healthy genes and deactivates unhealthy genes. Yes, you have unhealthy genes inside your DNA. Upregulates metabolism. It activates mitochondria. If you have problems with your liver, it actually helps clean up liver fibrosis and prevents new fibrosis from occurring. Immune. So it reduces active and passive inflammation at the source. Absolutely amazing. DNA and genetic modulator of the immune system itself. And it's a very powerful antioxidant. In fact, it has that result throughout the entire body. Neural. It controls neural oxidative stress. Now again, neural oxidative stress has been associated with Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, dementia, and other cognitive impairment. Wow! So increases your body's ability to not get these diseases. And I don't know about you, Parkinson's and actually more Alzheimer's and dementia runs very strong in my family. And I'm doing everything I can to make sure that doesn't affect my senior years. Okay, decreases nerve cell death. And you're thinking, why is that important? Well, what's interesting is nerves, once they grow out, once they grow into an area, it is very difficult for your body to regenerate those. To the point that there was a very famous football player, and during surgery on his neck, he had just a little bit of a nerve was nicked. Well, it took 1.5 years for that nerve to grow back a few millimeters. So obviously we should have introduced him to Optimum. But it's absolutely amazing that we want to protect those cells, those nerve cells, from dying, because if they die off, you don't necessarily replace them the way you do everything else. DNA activator inhibits TNF alpha. That has been shown to promote brain inflammation, so it blocks that. Actually is very important as far as recovery from traumatic brain injury, and actually can reduce the amount of inflammation that happens with traumatic brain injury. It actually has been shown to relieve anxiety, and it actually potentiates or initiates the activity of acetylcholine, which is the learning neurotransmitter. So increased brain focus, decreased brain fog. Whew, man! I mean, it's amazing, and we're just getting started. So cardiovascular, decreases bad cholesterol, increases healthy cholesterol, boosts nitric oxide, helps lower blood pressure, endocrine, glucose and insulin regulation again, increases insulin sensitivity, optimizes insulin secretion, pulmonary, balances the microbiome and the bacteria in your lungs. Yes, you have bacteria in your lungs. Modifies the DNA, reduces inflammation. And in the lungs, they've actually shown that it blocks the damage that inflammation causes. That's really cool. In your skin, Optimum also, or tetrahydrocurcumin, also scavenges free radicals from UV radiation. So it's protective against radiation exposure. Amazing. Amazing. When you think about the cancers and things that are happening in your skin and the upregulation we're having with that, this is protective. Improves wound healing by 78%. Improve the movement of fibroblasts. So these are some of the cells that need to come together so your skin will heal. Improves the levels of collagen by 37.9%. Improved elastin by 90%. So collagen is the base core structure that puts your skin, holds your skin together. But elastin is what makes it so that it has the ability to stretch and then bounce back. This means your skin looks younger on Optimum. Improves levels of hyaluronic acid. Again, something that's been shown to help your skin look younger. Musculoskeletal maintains healthy inflammation while decreasing chronic and harmful inflammation. This is key. This is absolutely key. So when you have joint pain and joint inflammation, inflammation can be a part of the healing process. It's a small part, but your body sometimes needs that little inflammatory kick of acute inflammation in order to get better. Well, this maintains that, but blocks the chronic inflammation. Super powerful. Wow. Do we dare continue on with genomics? Yes, we do. Absolutely amazing. Again, look at this list. Now, with genomics, I had to break the mold. You see, with all of the others, I was able to list system by system with how it affected each system. The problem with genomics, and this is a good problem to have, is that it affects all the systems, every cell, all of the tissues in such a dramatic way that breaking it down system by system, I would basically just be reproducing this list for every single system. Think about that. For every single system, it affects it in these ways. Activates detoxification, protects against toxins, and those are two different things. Actually signals your DNA to cleanse itself. So one of the important things that we're learning more and more about is the fact that these infections, viruses, bacteria, parasites, and so forth, actually code some of their DNA inside of us. Well, genomics, Nerve2 activation actually tells your body, go through and resequence that DNA and kick out the pieces that are bad. That's powerful. Reduces oxidative stress. Now, this is something that's very important. It reduces oxidative stress by 40%. Absolutely amazing. That was within a matter of weeks. Now, a lot of this research and data comes from some of the previous versions of the Nerf2 activator. We have a very unique product with Genomics. It is actually 10 times more powerful than the previous Nerf2 formulations. So there's other companies that have Nerf2 activators, and there's companies that have kind of splintered off or done different things, who knows. And there's always a ton of copycatters. But we have the research and data to show that Genomics is 10 times more powerful than any other formulation out there. How cool is that? So this activates enzymes that neutralize over 1 million free radicals. Regulates survival genes. So survival genes, when it says regulates them, if you go into complete survival mode, sometimes that can mean that it starts to activate genes that need to not be activated. Nerf2 actually regulates that, so the genes that need to be active to keep us moving forward and in balance are activated, and those that go to extreme survival are not. If you know about tumors and some other things, that makes a lot of sense, and that's very powerful. Activates cellular repair and rejuvenation, activates mitochondria, which bumps up your metabolism. So far, it only activates 3,000 genes within the DNA. Whatever. No, kidding. That's amazing. 3,000 genes inside the DNA. Downregulates inflammatory gene, upregulates anti-inflammatory genes. It's one of the few things we found that arrests telomere attrition, or it is anti-aging. As your telomeres get shorter and shorter, that is a sign of cellular and eventually your death. They've shown that that is a direct link, and this actually arrests that telomere attenuation. Protects the body from heat-based stress, protects against hypoxia. So hypoxia means low oxygen delivery. So it actually aids your cells in getting the oxygen that they need from the blood. That's very protective. Just a few things as far as then specific to certain systems I found. For the immune system, Nerf2 activator is a very powerful antiviral. How exciting is that in today's scenario? Very powerful antiviral. And it just said contains antiviral properties. Basically, it meant across all viruses. It balances neurotransmitters that are associated with addiction, anxiety, depression. It decreases glycosylation, so that's sugar attaching itself to your nerves, which again has been linked to these diseases. Protects the blood-brain barrier, modulates nutritional support supplements, so that it modulates the nutrition that your nerves need in order to grow and repair. And when I say modulate, it means that it improves that. It relaxes the vascular system, therefore decreases blood pressure. Again, with the endocrine, we're talking about glycosylation linked to diabetes. It protects and restores and enhances the beta cells. These are the cells that release the inflammation and reduces insulin resistance. So it increases sensitivity, reduces resistance, and makes it so that your body can produce it effectively. With your skin, once again, protects the body against cellular damage from UV light. Very powerful. And it enhances exercise performance from a musculoskeletal. So again, it activates mitochondria. It means that you can do more, better. So this really is the wellness power boost. You need to think about this as the wellness power boost. And I didn't talk much about the arrow. Really, that's a conversation that we need to have in and of itself. But I really want you to understand how amazing this trifecta is. The fact that they each work differently, but they have such overlapping. That's called stacking. That's called orchestrated therapy. And the reality is, just like an orchestra, if everyone does their part, it's beautiful symphony, beautiful music. And the same happens when we start to think about the trifecta. Absolutely beautiful music in promoting your body's wellness and health. Now, the skin products, I got to tell you, are amazing. They're second to none. I've done my research with these. We're not doing a deep dive into that, at least not today. It really comes down to the people, the products, and the process. We obviously have the right people in place. These people are interested in your well-being, in your success. They've come to the table with absolute earth-changing, system-changing products. Absolutely amazing. The science is incredible. The science is off the hook. You need to understand that, and that needs to give you confidence moving forward and not be shy, and start introducing as many people as you can to the process. One of the things, again, I want to reiterate with the process is the fact that it hits all of the key components to the windmill of wellness, which has been shown to touch all of the different things that we need to really optimize our health and wellness. Okay, I am hopeful that was informative. I know that was long and that was a lot of science, but are you serious? Can you believe it? Look at this list. Look at what these things do. And it's going to keep growing. We're still doing more research. We are really doing amazing research, and there's amazing things that are coming through ACTIVZ. I know that the power team at the top is not slowing down. Don't slow down. Keep moving forward. Gain the trust of the people that you come in contact with. Teach them how to activate health, wellness, financial independence, all of these different things in their own lives, and go forward. Just be amazing. Take care. I hope this finds you well. My best to you, your families, your loved ones, and hopefully we'll see you soon.